Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to It's All Black and White TV, Luton Town 1, Newcastle United nil match review. I'm joined by Roly. How are you, Roly?
Ho, ho, ho. I'm feeling very festive.
Yeah,
Newcastle played Santa yesterday, giving Luton Town a Christmas present.
absolutely. If you do like what you see, please do smash that like. It does help the channel stay near the top of the search, and it means new viewers find it easy. So do give it a like. It only takes a couple of seconds if you can click that thumbs up. Also, if you're brand new to the channel, come and smash the subscribe. Come be part of this great community. We are 30 away now from 1100. So any football fans are welcome on this channel as well. Also, if you do want to know when we are live, have a pre-record or any upcoming shows, then do hit the bell notification and that will let you know. If you want to become a member, it's 99p. You can do that by clicking the join button. And if you want to make a donation, you can do that in the chat by clicking on the $sign as well. Okay, right. Before we start, we'll jump into some comments. And we'll see what's what. Hi, Tony says, Trolls. Good afternoon, Trolls. I hope you're very well indeed, my friend. And Merry Christmas to all. Absolutely Merry Christmas to you as well. Bias says, Merry Christmas, Tony and Uncle Roly. For Christmas, I'd like a new right winger, please. Well, we'll get on to that. Don't you worry about that. I've got plenty to say. Evening, Tony, Roly, and everyone. Good afternoon, Lee. Hope you're well. I'm a bit scared of what Howe said after the match, that he doesn't know where to go isn't something I want our manager to say. But again, it's probably taken out of context. Yeah, I see what you mean. Lee says, evening, Tony and Roly, and everyone to you. Merry Christmas. To repeat it again. Happy Christmas, everybody, says Holly. Good afternoon, and happy Christmas to you as well. And afternoon, Tony, Roly, and all, says Mighty Mac. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone, says Julie J. Tony must be putting his Newcastle Santa suit on. No, absolutely not. I haven't got one of them. Hi, Tony and Roly, says Julie. Good afternoon to you, Julie. Hope you're well. Mad Max says, good afternoon and Merry Christmas to you all. Wishing you all the very best. And you as well, mate. Have a nice Christmas and hope you have a great day. And Troll says, hi, Roly, and Merry Christmas.
Hi, Trolls. Merry Christmas to you.
Ian Wills, hello, Tony. I left my knickers at your house, did you? All right, okay. Different. We played crap. I thought I was watching a Sunday League team, says Lee. We will get into this, don't you worry about that. Gary says, well, that was absolutely crap yesterday, Tony, mate. Do you know what it was? Yeah, absolutely. Not great at all. Not a great... yeah, absolutely. But yeah, absolutely. Wolves have just scored against Chelsea. Sounds sorted, had to go back and we had... bloody hell, nice to see Roly make a rare special guest appearance. It must be the magic of Christmas, says Mad Mag.
So I've had quite a few things on this last this month, so that's why I've been missing quite a few shows.
Our owners might not like this one win away, so they might be on the fence at the minute. I hope Howe gets the team working as he has favourites. That's clear to see. Well, we're going to get into all of this. Don't you worry about that. Was it Trolls being dealt with, says Julie. Thank you very much indeed, Julie. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Okay. So, yes, yesterday we went to Kenilworth Road. I did say this would be a tough game, but then I did say we can win this game 3-1. You know, Liverpool's been there and got a draw. Arsenal just beat them 4-3. Man City beat them just 2-1. So we know they're a handful. They're a good side. So we saw our team line up for Luton. And Dubravka, Trippier, Lascelles, Cher, Byrne, Bruno, Longstaff, Miley, Almiron, Gordon and Wilson. And we saw Livramento was on the bench. And Botman too. Which I thought in some ways, it wasn't a bad move to put Livramento on the bench. Give him a little bit of a break, I think. You know, so I wasn't too unhappy with that. Because I thought maybe he's resting for Tuesday. There's the Luton lineup as well. Kaminski, Gabor, Mengi, Osso, Bell, Doughty, Lakonga, Ross Barkley, Andros Townsend, Adebayo, and Jacob Brown. So that was their lineup yesterday. Obviously, Andros Townsend stood out because he used to play for us. And obviously, everybody knows about Ross Barkley as well. I mean, look, they come at us like the Alamo straight away. They were pretty pressing and intense against us. Forced Dubravka into an early save. When we did get the ball, I mean, look, Anthony Gordon put in a delicious cross. Let's be honest, it was. And it's a striker's dream, that cross. Why isn't Wilson burying that cross? Why isn't he just putting it either side of the keeper? Put it either side of the keeper, it's a goal. Wilson knew he's fluffed that chance. Kaminsky must have thought, oh, I'm done here because Wilson's going to put this either side, but I don't know what side he'll put it. And when it comes straight at him and he saved it, he must have thought, Jesus, that was great. Thank you very much for that. Big chances like that need to be put away, I'm afraid, at this level. And you will get, or you get punished, and you will get punished. Roly Wilson's chance.
He should have buried it, but I just think he just mistimed his connection, so it went straight at the keeper, because you could tell he was devastated because his hands in the head. God, how didn't I score? So he's just got the connection wrong with the cross. It's a beautiful cross, and sometimes again with crosses like that, if you get it wrong, it tends to go straight at the keeper. And he was trying to flick it, and if you just slightly mistime it, it's not going to go where you want it to. And he knew that was a big chance, and he knew he should have buried it. Again, that buries that changes the whole complex of the game.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely does. And look, they continue to press at us. They get a corner. And then obviously the ball comes in. Maley goes missing. The defence goes to sleep. And Andros Townsend's at the back post. Header, bang, past Dubravka. No chance for Dubravka. 1-0. And obviously celebrates in front of us and us fans. And then he goes running over, picks up the Lockyer shirt and holds that aloft, which is fair enough because Tom Lockyer's now at home recovering and we do wish him well. Not the one person you don't want to score against you is probably Andros Townsend, and he does it. I mean, look, yes, Miley did sort of go missing for that. He sort of like, he just went missing for a minute. That can happen. But, we should not have been conceding that goal. We should have defended that and dealt with that easily, but we didn't.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on Andros Townsend?
Just before I go on to the goal, I'd just like to make a mention that before the game, we had the flag out in the tune end, which was "Get Well Soon," Tom from NUFC, which I thought was brilliant. It was brilliant. Again, it's the flick on. Say he's gone to sleep or whatever, but the kid's young, really young. So he'll learn from that. We shouldn't be conceding goals like that, but the far post tends to be our vulnerability in corners. How many goals did we concede at the far post and corners last season? And we've not really corrected that.
No.
So it's when they get the flick on that we seem to struggle. If it's just a straight delivery in. With the likes of Lascelles and Botman, we normally deal with them quite well. As if they manage to get the flick, that's when we tend to struggle.
Yeah,
they finished it well. I think the biggest disappointment in that goal for me was we just looked like we're starting to take control of the game. Then they get that goal and it lifts them to list them. We've got something to defend now, and they defended from the front. So,
yeah. And then obviously Bruno had an attempt at goal, which he's trying to bend it in, you know, and I'm thinking, just put your bloody laces through it and hit it, you know.
I think he had to bend it, to be honest, Tony, because there are two defenders on him and it had been blocked anyway. So he didn't have much choice in the shot that he chose.
There was a penalty shout for a handball, but it wasn't a handball.
Yeah.
You know, Wilson was shouting for it, but was never a handball. And then obviously that first half as well, Ross Barkley, he had space in midfield to ran through, hit a shot, and it crashed off the crossbar. An inch lower, Dubravka was beating all ends up with that shot. That would have been one hell of a goal.
Yeah, it's a hell of a right.
That would have put Luton 2-0 up then. The one thing we did happen to have in that first half was we lost Jamal Lascelles to an injury. That's another injury again. So it reunited Sharon Botman back in the back four again. So we were back to our back four that we had last season. But I was a bit bemused when he took Miley off because I'm thinking, hang on a minute, what's going on here? Miley's played all right. Why are you taking Miley off? What are you doing, Eddie? You're bringing Isak on for Miley. Yes, I know he wanted to change formation. If I'm honest, I would rather Longstaff went off than Miley because Longstaff had a stinker for me yesterday. You know, and up until then, till he pulled Miley off, Longstaff hadn't really done a lot. So I'm sorry, he should have took Longstaff off and not Miley. I thought Miley played really well and I thought he was unlucky. I didn't think he deserved to be dragged off.
They wanted to make the change, and I think it's basically the decision is we'll go with the more experienced player. They've not played 4-4-2 with Miley in midfield. And I think that's the process that led to the decision to take Miley off. It's going to go with the more experienced player.
But was that what we actually went to, Roly? Because when you're watching that formation at times, it looked like Alexander Isak was playing in a free role.
Yeah, but he's playing the free role. But we had four in midfield. Well, two in the centre, and then obviously the wingers. I think it's the experience that he went for. That's why he took Miley off. It's just one of he knew he needed to change it. That was the decision he made, and I think he went for the experience to keep the experienced player on.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that. But Miley did nothing wrong, and so it's no slight on him. It's just the way the game was. Well, if you're going to change someone in midfield, I think if it's not due to injury, with Miley there, you take the young kid off. Don't put more pressure on him, and go to the experienced player. It's a case of if it worked, which it nearly did. No one questions it. It's because we lost. Everyone said, "Oh, why did he take Miley off? Because he was playing well," which he was. But it's a difficult. I think the thing about it is this time when things aren't going right, he's actually changed things quite early to try and change the face of the game, which you've got to be applauded for. The fact that it didn't, in the end, it didn't work. At least he's tried to make changes earlier, and I think bringing Isak on made a lot of difference because we actually looked a bit more sprightly and looked like we might actually get back in the game. So I thought he had a good game. Isak when he came on, he was the brightest player, looking to try and create something. We haven't got to the point where he could have made that telling impact yet. So I'll let you carry on with the summary of the game. We'll talk about that when we get there.
Yeah, I mean, look. So we go in at half time, 1-0 down. I'm sort of thinking, right, okay, anyhow, we'll get this sorted out half time, get them back out. We'll come out. We've got to come out better than we were in that first half because, you know, Luton ran the show in that first half at times, especially Ross Barkley, who made him look like a world-class player when everybody knows he's not a world-class player. Yes, he was a great player when he was at Everton, went to Chelsea. I think that sort of ruined his career, and he went to Nice. And I think he's possibly found a home at Luton Town. but we made him look like a Brazilian great or whatever.
I
Got to
think you're
remember he's.
exaggerating there a bit, Tony. He was good, but he wasn't that good.
But you got to remember he was in the England squad 5 years ago with Trippier. But look, I thought he ran their midfield. Barkley did.
Yeah.
So second half starts. I mean, Alexander Isak scores what we thought was the equaliser. Short-lived, offside. Went to VAR, and he was probably just offside, to be honest with you. When you look at the lines, now it does.
When I put them on, I think all those lines don't look great. And this is the thing about the way we do offsides. I can't understand why the Premier League didn't go with the offside, the semi-automatic offside that they used in the World Cup.
Because managers refused it.
Yeah,
likes of Klopp.
Yeah, because I mean that you get. It's not just you looking at someone's line. You get a definitive. You can see which bit of them's offside because they obviously had all the sensors and stuff to actually do it.
Used it in the Champions League and it was brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. It's so much better because you're not relying on some guy in a booth moving lines. It's done for them. And I sort of look when I saw the lines go, I said, "Well, that looks a bit weird." The line, the way it was drawn.
I mean, yes,
it was very, very close.
Yeah, a lot of people spotted. Obviously, I spotted that as well. That it came off the defender first, but for it not to be offside, the defender's got to be making a clearance, and he wasn't making a clearance. It was just a deflection, so it's classed as so it was offside, so it was cancelled out. And so okay, we go again and we try and get the equaliser, but Gordon hit the side netting, had a great chance there, and Wilson had a couple more, but overall, they cracked the bar again in the second half. Jacob Brown, what a shot that was from a tight angle. If that had gone in, that probably is up there with one of the goals of the season, because that would have been one hell of a goal had that gone in. From the angle he got the shot away at. But look, it wasn't to be. It's another away defeat for us. Luton Town win the game 1-0. And again, the way day blues continue, and one win away all season. That's not in all competitions, by the way. That's just in the Premier League. If you want to go all competitions, we've had 2 away wins, We should have had 3, and technically, if we'd won in Paris, which we were robbed in. But look, one thing Luton did show us something that we need to start doing a lot of is game management. Now, if you look towards the end of the game, the last minute and a half of injury time, and Panzu and Morris get a corner. And what do? And Panzu just stands there with the ball at his feet, not doing anything, just stand there with the ball at his feet, gets it, passes to Morris, gets it back from Morris, and just stands there with the ball, waiting for a challenge to come in. And as soon as he sees a Newcastle player, bang, he hits the ball, goes off the player, back out for another corner. Again, stand there. Then the referee blows a whistle. That's how you manage a game. That's how you take a game out. Miggy Almiron didn't do that against Chelsea. If he'd stayed in the corner and done that, we see that game out against Chelsea, and we're in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. And this is where we got to start learning more about game management. The best person who done game management, stand at the corner flag, keeping the ball to run the clock down, was Alan Shearer. He was the master of it. And the thing is, right, now then, if we look at players yesterday, I'm sorry, Miggy needs to be upgraded now in the January window. We need an upgrade on Miggy. Not good enough. Yesterday, from minute 6 to minute 80 when he went off, absolute shambles. Not very good at all. Put a shot over the bar. I just don't see what he's not bringing anything to the team. Yes, he can run around. We know he can. He can get back and track back. But you need more than that from a right winger. It's not good enough from Miggy. Look, and I'm not saying sell Miggy. keep him as a squad player. Miggy's better as an impact sub, someone you can bring on at 70 minutes when the other team's tiring and he's full of energy running about like a busy bee. But during the games, we need somebody who can assist, somebody who can score. And Miggy's just not doing it. He done it last season brilliantly. This season, he seems to have gone way off the boil. And look, at the end of the day, we need an upgrade on Miggy. And I don't care what anybody else says, we need an upgrade on Miggy. And I'll tell you one player who would be a total upgrade on Miggy, and even Foxy said the same because we are actually linked to this player, and that is Matthias Sule, who's on loan at Frosinone. And if you watch him, he's a bit like a young Angel Di Maria. That's what he's like. He's absolutely class.
Miggy wasn't great. I think he's one of the ones that has suffered from the injury ravage because pretty much since October he's been playing 3 games a week, and it shows. He's not since Jacob Murphy has got injured. He's had to play every game where he would have rotated or be spelled. By Murphy, we've had no option really to play him. You could push Livramento up further forward, but he's really wanted as an attacking fullback rather than a right winger. Yeah, well, we do need an upgrade on him. Whether they get, I think January is really going to depend on how close players are to coming back from injury and the availability of the targets that we want to bring in.
And even Rick Hayes are in. He's an upgrade on Miggy.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying a lot of it depends on who's available. Obviously, we've got that FFP to. We do need an upgrade on Miggy, but I think it's. Like I said, he'd suffered from the lack of rotation because that would have been with Murphy, and Murphy's out at the moment. So he's had to play all the games. We haven't really had any option. I think they're saying that January is going to depend on how close people are to coming back, FFP, and the availability from the clubs we want to get them from. Because it's a short window, which makes it difficult. Yeah. One thing that I've heard, I don't know how true it is one of the reasons that Lewis Hall hasn't been playing much is because if we hit certain boundaries before January, we've got to pay the money in January. So if they keep him back so he's not played that number of games, we pay the money in the summer, and it gives us more flexibility in January. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but it's a logical explanation. Because we've learned from the injuries that we do need to get some more bodies in. So it's the number of injuries that has been the problem because the players from the under-21s in general aren't good enough to play in the Premier League. So we've had a bench full of nothing for most of November. It's not because our squad isn't strong enough. It's because our squad's more than half the squad's injured or suspended.
Foxy hits the nail on the head when he says, we've been conceding goals like that all season. Easiest prediction he's ever made. He says Luton were always winning this game.
I don't know if they're always winning it, but we're in a poor run of form, especially away from home. Then Luton, we knew they're going to fight. They were going to be up for this. They had the emotional desire with Lockyer's heart attack, and they're really going to go for it. But we had the same thing when we played Sheffield United. Admittedly, we were in much better form, but we killed them off quickly. That's what I'm saying. It's important. If we could have got an early goal, it made all the difference because it sucks the life out of them. But we didn't. And they got going, and they thoroughly deserved the win because we weren't at it, and they were. We were second best in most areas. I thought we looked a lot better when Isak came on, especially in the second half where we started creating stuff. But it's one of those days where nothing came off. And as I always say, if you're not up for it, if you're not at your best in the Premier League, I don't care who you're playing, you'll get beat. And that's exactly what happened yesterday.
Sorry, just to put in there, Roly. Sorry, just put in a bit of news coming through. Not from our team, by the way, from Man United. No, they haven't sacked Ten Hag yet. No. Manchester United Football Club will confirm today that the sale of 25% to billionaire Sir Jim Ratcliffe has been ratified and is approved. So it's looking like Jim Ratcliffe, owner of Ineos, is now going to join the United board, the Man United board there. So that's some news coming in from Sky. That's Sir Jim Ratcliffe is set to have his 25% stake.
We've just been waiting for the confirmation on that one.
Yeah, so now they've got it. Wonderful it's weird how they've got that just in time for the January window, isn't it? How many players are going to be coming in from Nice, I wonder. Tadimo being one of them, I reckon. And probably Kevin Durham. Wouldn't bet your bottom dollar against it either. Mad Mag says, Dub's looking better and better each run out if we're looking for a silver lining from yesterday. Yeah, I thought he had a good game yesterday, Dubravka. I'm not afraid to say he didn't. He kept the score down, I suppose. Eddie has said, he's not dismissed that we're not looking for another keeper in the January window. And I still think we are looking for another keeper.
That's what I said a few weeks back when Popes had his injury, and I know you were clamming for Carriers to have a go. I said Dubs will get better when he gets a run of games under his belt, because some players are like that. You remember last season or in the beginning of the season when Longstaff was out injured, it took him a few games to get up to the pace. Some players can drop back in and hit those high levels. Some need a couple of games to get up with the pace, but he nothing he could do about the goal was good with everything else.
Yeah,
they made a double save at his near post. Well, yeah.
Ronald says, Eddie says he's doing a morning session on Christmas Day. After that, I would do a full day session. Yeah, that's a bit cruel, but yeah, I see what you mean. Bias says, well, Longstaff and Miggy on it was like playing with 9 men. Yeah, you're not far wrong. Hi, Guy says, Clarkey. Hi, Clarkey. Ronald says it was 4-2-3-1 formation, didn't he? Happy Christmas to everyone, says Clarkey. Happy Christmas to you. Troll says we need to upgrade a couple of positions, to be fair. Keeping Longy on instead of Maley was stupid, unless he was knackered, of course. Gary says...
that was just the senior, keeping the more experienced player on.
Why do we go on the attack at home and win games, but seem to sit back away from home and lose all the time, lads? Do you know what, Gary? That's a very good point, because last year when we were away from home, we were playing the pressing and intensity game. We were blowing teams away, like Southampton, like Fulham, like Brentford. We were blowing teams away.
I think the other thing you've got to remember on that is last season, we didn't, apart from the Carabao Cup, we didn't have midweek football like we do this time, and we didn't have the injuries that we've had. And you look at the likes of Bruno, you look at Miggy, Gordon. They've been playing 3 games a week since October, and that's it's gonna affect you. If we hadn't had the injuries to the likes of the long-term injuries like Pope, Murphy, Anderson, Byrne, and Harvey Barnes, which were the freak ones, we'd be able to rotate, keep people fresh, because you'd have 5 senior players that you could put on the bench, where at times we haven't had any, and I think that's been the biggest problem. Those players can play themselves into form; they can also play themselves out of form as well. And I just think it's not so much the number of games; it's the lack of the ability to rotate that has been the real issue here.
Ronald says, was Gordon fully fit? Didn't think so myself, and Miggy was piss poor. Look, Gordon wasn't fully fit. In all honesty, I'm not being funny. He should have been rested for this game. and he could have played Richie. No disrespect, but he could have. But again, you know, I'm going to come on to this a bit later because, look, there's some things I'm not really happy with yesterday in that game. And Roly might not agree. Some people might not agree. But I'm sorry, at the end of the day, if you can't be honest, then what's the point of doing the channel and doing shows like this if you can't be honest? At the end of the day, I've supported Newcastle since I was 10-year-old for 41 years. And yes, this is probably the best period we've seen, apart from obviously under Sir John Hall when we had a great period then. Not so under the fat cockney bastard. We got nothing under him. But look, and under Seymour and McKeague, they were awful owners as well. But at the end of the day, we see too many of out there. People are frightened to have an opinion because they're worried about getting slated on Twitter, Facebook, etc., social media. I'm sorry, at the end of the day, you support your club. If something's not right, you tell it how it is. You don't sit back. Because at the end of the day, don't let people put you off from having your opinions, because that's what football's about, opinions. And if people don't like what other people have got to say, then so be it. Don't, but don't comment and don't troll people and don't bully people, I see things that Oliver Holt says I don't agree with, but I'm not going to go out there and shout the odds and show myself up. So, at the end of the day, football's about opinions, and we've all got our opinions as well. So, Lewis says, plus you now know if the camera could be in a different place in each different stadium, it's never going to be the same angle. Lewis is dreading Liverpool away.
I think we all are.
Yeah, we are. Troll says, what's really scary is we play the Mackhams away too. Hope we go gung-ho on them, though. Well, yeah. I mean, look, I think they got the wrong manager in yesterday. I think Ian Beale was on the touchline because they lost 3-0, and they forgot Michael Beale must still be in Glasgow. Alan Shearer was a master in taking the ball to the corner, Tony, and Tony just beat me to it. That's right.
I don't know if anybody saw the Coventry Twitter. They called it the Stadium of Light Work. After that 3-0 win, I thought it was quite amusing.
Julie says Miggy's had that purple patch when Grealish mocked him after that. Nothing. Time for him to go to Saudi. Outgoing maybe. Miggy's not good enough at the moment. Daniela says, who would have thought the top 7 at Christmas would be Arsenal, Liverpool, Villa, Spurs, Man City, West Ham and Newcastle? Yeah, exactly. Miggy's been overplayed. He's suffering due to having no one else to rotate with. That's the obvious issue. You'll never get the best out of Mickey playing 90 minutes every 3 days.
Yeah,
I agree with that, Foxy, but look, you can rotate him. That's the thing, you can. Push Livramento to right wing. He could do it. Livramento can do as a right winger. Give Livramento a chance. When you've got Trippier behind you, put Livramento in front of him. I'm sure, they could even swap places at times where Tino could drop the right back and, Kieran Trippier can go to right wing. So there's no excuses.
That Livramento for most of the last month was covering at left back.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
That's the thing. It's not just one. If it'd just been one position that we'd had injuries at, that would be a perfectly valid argument. Well, why don't you put Livramento further up? But he's had to cover at left back because Target and Byrne have all been injured. Obviously, they don't feel that Lewis Hall is quite there yet to actually start at left back. So we couldn't spell Miggy even if we wanted to. And that's been the big problem. I agree with Foxy there.
Look, Roly, we've got other players on the bench who can play left back. Alex Murphy, he's played well in pre-season. He's never let the team down. So why isn't he getting the chance? But this is a problem. Eddie Howe has got his favourites, Roly. I'm sorry, he has. Eddie Howe has his favourites.
Every manager.
There's quite a few fans are saying this now about Eddie Howe. Look at yesterday. Look, why is he bringing Miggy off after 80 minutes when he was shite all game and brings Livramento on with 10 minutes to go? He brings Lewis Hall on with 5 minutes to go. What's the point? What is the point of that substitutions? The substitutions that Eddie's doing are not great at the moment. and he's getting them all wrong at the moment. And I'm not slating Eddie for 1 minute, because Eddie's been absolutely fantastic for the club. But surely he could have brought Livermento on a lot earlier than 80 minutes. He could have brought him on, say, maybe at 60 minutes, and said, Mickey, you've had 60 minutes. I'm going to bring you off. I'm going to give Tino a shot at right wing for the last half hour. Just, you never know. I mean, Tino looked all right when he come on at right wing for Mickey, but he didn't have enough time to impact the game. And this is the problem, Roly. This is the problem.
The second batch of substitutions, they were late, but we only get 3 lots of substitutions. You can have 5 subs, but you can only make 3 sets of substitutions. We made one at the beginning. We made one in the first half to change things up, which to an extent improved things. Wasn't great, but I agree with Miggy was poor, but I would have taken him off earlier, personally. But I'm not running the shop. But as I say, the big problem has been that, I mean, the case in point is Miggy. In the last week says, "Oh, why don't you put Livermento there?" Well, he's having to play at left back because we haven't got a left back. You say about Alex Murphy, well, it's not played in the Premier League before. Do they actually believe?
Yes, he has. He's come on,
come on
as a substitute.
For how long? 20 minutes was it total? He's been on?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it was 20 minutes, but still, he's still been in the Premier League.
So he's not. It's a case of, do they trust him to start a Premier League game? Do they want to put that pressure on him? Has he developed enough to play a full game? That's the consideration. I know you say, he's got to have a chance. Yeah, he will get his chance, but he's still young. He's still learning, still developing into our system. But as you've got Livermento, who can play there, you'll play Livermento there because you're going to get a high quality performance.
When the January window comes around, we need a right winger. We need another striker.
Yeah.
We need another centre back. Right? Now then.
Centre back, I'm not so sure on. I think centre back we can, as long as Lascelles' injury isn't too bad. I think that we can get through to the end of the season with what we've got, and you spend the money.
Why I'm saying another striker, Roly, is because we've had it this season where Wilson and Isak have both been injured.
I agree with you. The striker, it's the centre half. I think they'll wait till the summer because Lascelles has played so well. Botman's back now. Got Shah, who could, who's like the Terminator, just keeps coming, and then we've got Dan Burn who can play there as well. So I don't think we'll go. I think we'll look at the centre half in the summer because of how well Lascelles has played. Striker, right winger, yes. And
what you need is you want a striker that can sit on the bench and you can call him on with 20 minutes to go and say, "Go and grab me a goal."
Yeah, absolutely, I agree with you. 100%.
What team used to have a great tradition of having strikers on the substitutes bench that they used to call upon? Man United, they used to get Mark Robbins, get off the bench and score a goal. Mark Robbins would score. Chicharito would get off the bench and score.
Liverpool back in the day with David Fairclough, super sub.
Solskjaer used to do it as well.
David Fairclough in the 80s for Liverpool.
But that's what you need. You need a sort of striker. You say, get on there and get me a goal, when things aren't going right.
We do need another striker. Because
you're linked to Jonathan David from Lille, and I would say yes, absolutely, take him with a drop of a hat.
And I think the problem with strikers is going to be the FFP because strikers aren't cheap. Now, if we can do a deal and get someone on loan with an option or something like that, I think they're going to have to be a little bit creative in how we get recruitments. They may let. Do you think that if they got a decent offer, they'd let Miggy go and then get a Chiesa or something like that, because that would fund it?
Roly, we've got money to spend in January. We've just had a Champions League campaign.
Yeah, I know we've got money to
from that.
The thing about it, if you spend it all now, it hamstrings us in the summer.
Not really, because we've got the Adidas deal coming through.
Yeah, I know, but even so, we've got the Adidas deal coming through. That's great, but you want to spend to improve now, but you don't want to spend so much that it hampers you going forward. So that they know how much they can spend.
And in January,
January's always hard.
yes, we know, Roly, but in January, Eddie Howe's got to be ruthless now, and I mean ruthless. He's got to say to Paul Dummett, he's got to say to Matt Ritchie, right, I need extra players in this squad. Sorry, but you two are not in the next Premier League squad for the rest of the season. You can either go and find another club now in January. You can, you can go on loan maybe or whatever. You can find another club in January, or you can stay here and train, but you will not be part of the squad. He needs to do that. He needs to do that now, Roly, because it's no good having sentiment for players.
The only way you do that is when you've got players coming in who are going to take those spots. If you can't get the players coming in, you can't do that.
That's what I'm saying, Roly. If the players are in, he needs to say to Matt Ritchie and Paul Dummett, sorry, lads, off you go.
Absolutely. He's done that with the likes of Isaac Hayden. What's he call him? Oh, that superb midfielder that we got on a free from Burnley.
Or Jeff Hendrick.
Yeah, we've done that to him. He has done that. But the only time he'll do that is when we brought players in and then we need to make space on the squad. That's when he'll say to our lads, thanks for everything you've done.
Joe says, if we want to see cups and league titles, we can't be sentimental towards players like Miggy, Dubs, Longy, and so on. We need to be ruthless.
Yeah, we will be. But again, a lot of it depends on what Eddie and Ashworth think the areas of greatest priority. Because we've all got ideas. Well, we need to strengthen here, we need to strengthen there, but they will have a plan. And this is what they know who they want to try and bring in, and then they also know when they'll be able to get those players.
Yeah, Jan says it's time to say goodbye, compatriot, for Mickey, Sean, Byrne, Wilson, and Dubs. Your thoughts on that, Roly?
Not in January. Summer maybe, not in January. I don't have any problems with that.
Wilson's got a good goal scoring record.
Yeah, but when he's fit, I mean, everyone says Sean, but he's had a poor couple of games in the last few weeks. But apart from that, he's been pretty good, and I don't see Sean going anywhere in the summer. Burns, part of the senior leadership team, right? He's been out injured for most of the time, so you can't really blame. Most of the last couple of months, so you can't really blame the form on him. Dubs, everyone wants Dubs out because he went to Man United, but I think that we'll be looking to upgrade on Pope soon. So
yeah,
maybe they'll get someone in to be understudy to Pope that can take over for him in the summer. I think Matt Ritchie, Dummett need to go either in January or in the summer. If we've got a decent offer in for Emil Kraft, I'd be tempted because the contract runs out at the end of the year. I'd be tempted to take it.
I mean, Foxy makes a point there. Look, first we need to move on the injury-prone players. Wilson breaks down too often. You're absolutely spot on. Murphy's another one. Can't rely on people that are not available for selection for a whole season consistently.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Foxy, the thing I would say to that, Foxy, is that obviously we've set Palace and Forest a price for Murphy. Now, if they want to come in and buy Murphy, I'm quite happy for Jacob Murphy to leave in January, considering we'll get a replacement. That could be in the calibre of Matthias Soule, or it could be Federico Chiesa. But whoever comes in will improve the team. So I totally agree. And Wilson has to be upgraded because look, he's been great for us, Wilson. Let's be honest. He has been.
Injuries. It's always been the injury.
He can't stay fit for too long. That's the problem with Wilson. He's a great striker if he could stay fit.
That's always been the problem with him, is staying fit. When he's fit, he's one of the best strikers in the Premier League. He's just not fit often enough. I mean, that's why I hope we bring in a striker in January.
Yeah. Joe says if we sell 2 to 4 players, we'll have a big cash to buy more in the summer. But how is loyal to players? That nearly gets there, in my opinion. Dr. Penguin saying how's got to go. I don't think got to go. I think he's just got to be a bit more ruthless now. And he's just got to start pushing sentiment aside now. And, you know, once we get players back as well, and any players we sign in January, he's got to say to some players, sorry, you're not a certain starter week in, week out. And he's got to be ruthless. We've seen a little bit of, we've seen, look, Howe did well last season and he started off this season okay. It's the home form's been brilliant. It's the away form. It's just absolutely horrendous. And, you know, we need to halt that slide of a run of defeats because the way defeats at the moment is relegation form in the form table for away days. We're 17th in that table. That's not great at all. That's bad.
Yeah, it is. It is, and it does need to pick up. I mean,
I wouldn't say
it happening. I can't see it happening, but how good would it be if we would reverse the trend at Anfield? So I just want us to beat those guys so bad, so soon, because I mean, but I don't know what it is with the way the fixtures fall. Obviously, at the beginning of the season, we played them early when we hadn't picked up our form, and we really should have beaten them. Last season, at the beginning of the season, we were robbed of a 7-goal that win it. Then when they play us, it's just before the Carabao Cup, and we're out of form. Now they're going to play us again when we're out of form. I just want to catch them sort of like 6 or 7 games into the season when we're on form, and we can give them the tonking they deserve. But I can't see us getting anything at Anfield the way we're playing away from home at the moment. But it'd be a great place to change that trend. And what a confidence boost it would be as well.
I'm going to ask you this question, Roly, and give me your honest answer now. Because of our away form, the way we are playing at the moment, are you worried about playing Sunderland now?
I'm not worried, but there's a little concern. But I have that with every derby we've had. I think that you've got to be concerned because our away form is so poor. But again, we're playing a higher caliber team than Sunderland. But it's a banana skin. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, I know there are a lot of people out there who love the derbies, the atmosphere, and everything. I hate derbies unless we win. They're great when we win, but if we don't win, I can't stand them. But yeah, I mean, there's got to be cause for concern because our away form isn't great. It hasn't been great, but again, say if we get something against Liverpool, that'd be a nice confidence booster going into it. On the other side, I'm not expecting us to get anything at Liverpool, but if we go to Sunderland and have a convincing win, that could be the sort of launching pad for improved away performances.
Yeah,
we've got to go into the game positive, play our game, impose it on them, and then we come away with the win.
I've got to agree with Foxy about the way we're conceding poor goals, and the thing is, Foxy, as well, it's not the fact we're just conceding poor goals. Like yesterday was a break from the tradition that we've had this season, but we've conceded a hell of a lot of late goals, and that concerns me. You know, Chelsea, PSG. Yes, okay, the PSG one you could see we were up, but it doesn't matter. It was still a late goal we conceded. Liverpool, you know, and the trend's continuing, and we've got to stop this. Yesterday we didn't concede a late goal because he scored in the 25th minute, but you know, you're absolutely right.
That is a concern because I say the Premier League is such an unforgiving league when you make mistakes. That's why you look at the teams at the bottom of the table; they tend to be the ones that make the most mistakes because in most cases, you make a mistake in the Premier League, and I don't care who you're playing, you get punished. Like
Yeah.
we made one really bad mistake at the back for their goal. They punished us. They didn't really make any mistakes. So yeah, you still can concede goals, but if you don't make mistakes, it makes it easier to get things out of games. And we've been making too many at the back late on in games. It's I know they'll be working on it, and we'd look to put things right at home against Nottingham Forest. A nice convincing win, build up some confidence again to go to Anfield. Let's see if we can do to them what they did to us at St James's. Be out the game and then in the last 10 minutes get 2 goals and win it. But it means another positive for the. Let's look at some of the positive sides from yesterday's game. All right, the result wasn't great. The performance wasn't great. I think at least Eddie recognised that it wasn't going right and made changes, his initial changes, nice and early. I thought Botman looked good, and he's got another 60 minutes under his belt. I think that's good. I think Lewis Hall getting a few minutes was good. I think he should have brought Livramento on early, personally, but it's good to see him come on. And Dubravka is getting better with each game. So there are things there to build on, but it's just the overall performance was below the standard that we expect these days. I think a lot of it is mental tiredness with these. As I say, these guys, some of these guys, Trippier, Bruno, Gordon, Miggy, have been playing 3 games a week since October. Mentally, that's going to wreck you. They've not had the opportunity to rotate, and that's going to wreck you. We're seeing that now. If we hadn't, you look at the likes of Villa, they've hardly had any injuries, and they've been able to cope because they've been able to rotate. Man United are crying about their injuries, but they've never been as severe as ours. You look at the Liverpool had about 2 or 3 injuries. Same with Arsenal. It's just been unprecedented, the number of injuries we've had. Now, obviously, we've had the dislocations and the broken bones, which are freak accidents, but the rest of them are muscle injuries. Now, is that something to do with the training? Is it something to do with the way we play? They're not warming up properly. We've got to really have a good look into why that's happening so we can sort of prevent it or mitigate it. Because so we've gone into games with 13 players unavailable. You have a squad of 25. That's been the problem, and we had that for and it's not just for one game, it's been for a whole series of games.
Yeah. Ronald says, what was your first away match, Tony? Mine was 1987 away at Spurs, allowed a bevy of 13. What a day. Shame we got beat with a dodgy goal, about 15,000 it was. I'll tell you what my first away game was. And it was quite late on, and they just only do home games at the time, but I went to Sunderland away when we played in the playoff semi-final when we drew 0-0. When Budgie saved Paul Hardyman's penalty in the last minute. So, yeah, that was my first away trip, and it was a derby. That was a great day when Budgie saved that penalty. What a keeper he was, Budgie, by the way. Character.
My first away, obviously you've got to remember I'm not from the Northeast, so my first actual away game was the first game I saw Newcastle. I think it was 1983, I think. Or it might have been a little bit earlier than that. I can't remember. I think it was Bolton away. I think it's a season before Keegan's side. My dad took me there. Then after Keegan's side, he took me to Oldham away. That's the first. I remember my first home game. I forget the year, but it was Gazza's returned to Newcastle after he signed for Spurs. So that was
All
probably
right, yeah.
87, was it? Was it 87? 86, 87?
Yeah. No, because I'm not going 88.
It might be, yeah, it might have been 88.
Might have been, yeah.
Yeah, because I was at university. Yeah, it's probably 88. I travelled up. I was living in Cambridge at the time, doing a work placement, and so I got the train up to Newcastle. No idea where the ground was. I'll just follow the people because they're all. If you don't know where the ground is when you go to a football match, you just follow the people because most people are going there. But I stood on the Gallagher end for that game.
Yeah.
That's a 2-2 draw. But yeah.
Gary says, I'll tell you what, if we got the FA Cup against Sunderland, I can see Eddie's job being on the lane, lads.
I don't think.
Look, let's be honest, chat, right? I tell you what, let's not sugarcoat things. Let's be honest, chat, right? Okay, right. So Eddie is the first manager under the new ownership. They got rid of Cabbage Head because, honestly, I think they only let him manage Spurs because it was his 1000th game and they didn't want bad publicity aimed at the club by sacking him and saying, oh, well, he hasn't even let him get to 1,000 games. So I think they've just done that as a sentiment thing. And look, we got off to the perfect start under him, to be fair. Wilson scored, but then obviously we lost that game 3-2 against the man who's in charge of Nottingham Forest now, Nuno Espirito Santos. But look, Eddie Howe was brought in by the ownership. And his first main aim was to keep us in the Premier League. And he did that. And he did that by a country mile. Last season, we finished Champions League. Absolutely fantastic. Back in the Champions League. I don't think we've given a bad account of ourselves in the Champions League. We've been very unlucky. Game management let us down against Milan. Instead of going gung-ho, trying to get that second goal, we should have just hung on and got into the Europa League.
To be honest, I think that at Milan, I think it's the players' desire to qualify out of the group that they lost a little bit of that control because they wanted to win the game because they knew that if we won, we played champions, we go through to the knockout stages.
But what I'm trying,
yeah, the win rather. I'm not necessarily sure that was the plan. I think the players just said, "Look, we can win this. Let's go for it," and then got caught out.
So, anyway, back to Gary's question. So, what I'm trying to say here in a roundabout way is, look, at the end of the day, nobody's indispensable, and we know that. Now, you're saying his job might be on the line if we get beat off Sunderland. Might be. We don't know. We don't know what the ownership are thinking. We know Manda likes Eddie Howe and Mia Dad, and we know Jamie Rubin likes Eddie Howe, and obviously Yassa does as well. But what you've got to remember is the 80% ownership of the club belongs to PIF and Yassa. Look, at the end of the day, we know what Saudi Arabia, not just Saudi Arabia, but anybody in the Middle East is like. We've seen it with Man City. They had Mark Hughes in for a while. He was like their transitional manager. And then they moved on to a different manager and obviously went through different managers, like Mancini and, and you got the Guardiola. Even had Sven-Göran Eriksson as manager, didn't they? But the thing is, what I'm trying to say is the Saudis or any Middle East businessmen, whether they're from Dubai, the UAE, wherever they're from, when they put money into businesses, and this is what football is, it's a business to them. If, say, for instance, that business isn't doing great, they will make changes to make that business better. But the only problem is we are being hampered by FFP, and yes, we know we are because of the fat controller who used to own our club, who ruined our club and made our FFP so shit that we're having to build it up. And it's going to build up slowly. So it maybe doesn't help Eddie Howe if we lose against Sunderland, but I'm not sure how this ownership are going about it, if they would make a change or if they'll keep faith with Eddie. They may well say Eddie Howe stays in charge at the end of the season, then review at the end of the season. I don't know. I really don't know. I can't give you an answer on that. I want nothing more than Eddie Howe to stay here, succeed, and bring trophies to Newcastle United and turn himself into an elite manager. That's what I want to see from Eddie Howe. But to be an elite manager and to bring trophies, he's got to start being ruthless as well. You've got to start being ruthless with a squad. No room for sentiment. Matt Ritchie, sorry, you're not in the squad because you're not good enough, because you're too old now. You've been a great servant. Yes, he's been a great servant at the club, Matt Ritchie. No room for sentiment. Out you go. Paul Dummett. The only reason we kept him on was for the Champions League. Well, we've got no Champions League now, so you may as well release him in January and get rid. And let him go to the Championship or a lower end Premier League team, because he'd probably still do a job for somebody. Now then, Eddie Howe has got to start being ruthless. And if people are not performing, he's got to start saying, right, you're not performing, you're on the bench. And you're on that bench until you can prove to me that you're good enough to be in that starting lineup. And if we get a player that's injured and you get in that starting lineup, you've got to grab that chance with every opportunity. Like I always used to say about ESM. All I wanted to see from ESM when he was here was I wanted to see him come in, grab the shirt and say, right, I'm not letting go of this shirt. I'm going to make sure nobody takes his shirt off me back. That's how you should think as a player. You shouldn't need motivation to play well. You should be thinking to yourself, the only motivation I'm giving myself is I'm going to make sure I play at the best of my ability and that they won't pull me out of this starting lineup. But Eddie Howe's got to stop being ruthless with some players, unfortunately, and he really has to now. And that way, Eddie Howe will succeed. But, you know, and I've seen this coming from a lot of people, Eddie Howe has too many favourites. Yesterday, against Luton Town, there was one player missed in that game yesterday, and that was Joe Linton. If Joe Linton's in that midfield yesterday, Ross Barkley gets nowhere near our box and doesn't even get a shot on target because Joe Linton would keep him quiet. We're missing Joe Linton. We're missing Joe Willock as well. You know, Anthony Gordon could have had a rest because you could have played Willock on the left. So, look, you know, the same with Joe Linton could have played left as well. But, you know, we are missing Joe Willock and Joe Linton as well.
I mean, so you say it's got to be ruthless and not play favourites. Well, in this last 2 months, he hasn't had the options to be able to be ruthless. Now we're getting players back. He can be. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you saying like the likes of Richie and Dummett need to move on. They do. That will come, especially if we bring someone in 2 or 3 players in January, they'll be told to get another club because you're not going to make, like we did with Isaac Hayden, get another club because you're not going to be in the squad. Mm-hmm. But they'll need to bring him in before they let him go. This Saturday was the first time where you look at the first team, think, yeah, it's a good first team. We've got some players on the bench, but we forget that the mental tiredness was just shining through from some of the key players yesterday. And that's because we've not been able to rotate. And I'm sure that when we've got more players back fit, we'll see a lot more rotation because you've got to, especially with the number of games we've played. Guys need a mental breaks as well as physical. I was just thinking, where's an international break when you need one?
I mean, look, Daniela makes a good point.
I do agree with you in the main. But but it is nuanced, and that you can't do it, especially with FFP. If we didn't have the FFP limits that we have to work to, we'd have done all these changes in the summer. But it's going to be 2 or 3 windows before we've got rid of everybody that we want to get rid of, and have a really good squad with depth and quality, plus have a much improved under 21. So we've got players in that squad that are Premier League ready. I mean, some of the guys that we've brought, the likes of the Alex Murphy, is going to be a great player, but he's probably a season and a half away from actually challenging for a first team place. He'll be training with the squad, but he'll be one of the he's going to be a little bit away, and some of the other guys that they brought into the squad, they were only in the squad because of the injuries that we had, and they're probably. I think that most of our, when you look at all the players that are eligible for the football, the under-21s, the only one that was Premier League standard is Lewis Miley. The rest are probably a season or two away, but can get there. And I think that is why they've not been risked, because it's all great saying I'll give him a chance, but you don't want to ruin the guy's development and confidence by he's stuck in the deep end in the first team and gets made a mug of. So I think a lot of that is protecting the younger players. And I think that's part of the reason why you took off Miley rather than Longstaff, because you take Longstaff up and you put all that pressure on Miley. You've got to protect your young players to help them develop. So that's been the problem. It all boils down to having so many first team players or first team caliber players injured for a sustained period of time. I mean, it's not unheard of to have 12, 13 players injured in a season, but not all at once.
Yeah,
that's been the issue.
Daniela says there.
You can't be ruthless when you've only got 11 fit outfield players of Premier League quality.
Yeah, it's like Daniela says, sorry to say this, we're going out of Europe, the League Cup exit, and your league form. I think your manager's walking thing lane. I mean, look, I'm not sure he's walking lane, but I think it's the away form's not helping us. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Even Julia goes like losing the derby cost Rod Hullety's job, so it could be the same for Eddie Howe.
I don't think so. It's different circumstance. I mean, the thing. I know the Saudis are ruthless, but they're also pragmatic and have a long-term vision. They didn't expect to be where we are now.
Yeah.
So quickly. So it's taken them by surprise. Last season took everybody by surprise. If we finished top 10 like they thought we would last season, and we're in the position we're in now, that would probably be on track with how they calculated everything. Now, we've exceeded that last season, so everything looks doom and gloom because we're not doing as well as we are. And I'm sure that they see that. They won't be happy with what's happening, but they'll also they'll have a better inside knowledge on the mitigating factors on why it is happening. And they always bought Newcastle as a project. They spent, was it 280 million on a football club that they know could be worth in the region of 3 billion when they fully develop it. So it's a long-term project. So they don't have knee-jerk reactions because they plan. They have a process. Right, we jumped ahead of the process last season. We slipped back a bit. So we're probably on track for where they thought we would be when they bought the club.
Yeah.
And got a lot of credit in the bank as well.
Yeah. Sai says if we can't sell Miggy, I'd go to Feyenoord and bring Minty back and swap him with Miggy. Look, the thing is, we've got to agree with Feyenoord, and they've got to agree with us that they'll allow Minty to come back and the player as well. Arnie Slot might turn around and say, well, actually, I don't want to lose him because he's integral till the end of the season for me. So he might say, I don't want to lose Minty. So we've got to be careful. But again, I can see what we're saying. But maybe it's best if Minty stays there till the end of the season and then comes back at the end of the season after having a full season. But it's all down to the club at the end of the day what they want to do. Ronald says I'm just going to run through some comments, Roly. Sorry.
It's just because you're talking about Minty, I just want to quickly make this point. I think that Minty was sent on a year-long loan to Feyenoord because they weren't anticipating bringing him back at any point. The fact that he's done so well is why people think, oh, you should bring him back. But I think the whole point of sending him there was to get a year of development in a league that's not as good as the Premier League, but is a decent standard and a renown for developing young players. So he'll get a good footballing education at Feyenoord. Then he comes back to Newcastle in the summer, does a full pre-season with Eddie, and then he'll get his chance to stake his claim in the first team rotation.
Yeah, Mad Max says, hopefully not the case, Julie, about Eddie Howe, but she says, I can see a few turn on him. Don't forget, we've got Nottingham Forest on Tuesday, and that's not going to be a walk in the park either.
No games of walks in the park.
The only thing I will say about the Forest game is, one, it's at home. Two, we probably do have the edge over Forest because, remember, they've just got their new manager, Nuno Espirito Santos, in, and it's going to take a little while for him to implement his training methods to pass it on to them playing on the park. So I think we win that game comfortably. We win that game comfortably.
Didn't Bowley get a red card yesterday?
Yes, he did. He's out.
Yeah, so he's missing.
Good, because he likes to score against us, that twat does every time.
And he's a decent defender as well, so yeah.
Look how many times when he played for Wolves, he scored headers against us from corners. So I'm glad he's out. It's one less to worry about. Foxy says, Wilson and Isak are really solid players. Our problem is that we rely on both to be our main guys up front. They break down too often. Yeah, you're absolutely right there.
That's why we need a third striker.
Beat Chelsea, by the way.
Yes, I've just seen that.
Gillespie is the worst one by far. Yeah, I agree. I'd keep Wilson as the third striker. Yeah.
We need 3 strikers.
Foxy says it could be the situation where Miggy and Murphy both get moved on in the summer if Minty makes a good impression pre-season, and then we bring in a top wide player like Sully, etc.
Yeah,
that's not bad shout.
And that would fund more spending. I think the ruthlessness that you want to see, Tony, will be in the summer, and I think there'll be players that we move on that have done decent jobs for us this season and in past season. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they give Lascelles a new contract because this is running out, and then sell him in the summer to go, because he's put in displays this season that I'm sure that there are clubs that will play in that 15 to 20 million bracket for him because he's been that good.
Daniela says, I think if you don't get European football at the end of the season, how will be gone?
I think we will get European football. I'm not sure which competition, but I think we will.
Julie agrees with Daniela. Senior owners have said they want European football.
Of course they do.
Paul says, I bet our owners have already got someone in mind, if not lined up already. Our owner will not settle for second best.
Yeah, but they won't settle for second best. But
one thing I do want to see is
what time scale they've got to achieve their accomplishment. Last season was a total surprise for everyone. It's a great surprise. But again, we didn't have the injuries. We weren't playing as many games. So it's a case of, like, this season, you can put it down to as a learning curve for the squad strength, the squad depth, and they'll be analysing everything and seeing how we can improve. I hope we have a quick start in the January transfer window.
I'll tell you what annoys me at the minute, right, is we've got all these journalists. Now, I feel sorry for the guy, because why should he have to be bombarded by the media? He must be getting sick of it by now. Jose Mourinho. Now, he spoke in an interview last week to somebody. Now, he has been asked by reporters again, are you going to go on to be the next Newcastle manager? Now, all he turned around to them and said, look, I have absolutely nothing to say to that. Nothing whatsoever to say. He must be getting sick to the back teeth of being asked this. He's probably sitting there thinking, they've got a manager. Eddie Howe's in charge. Why are you asking me these questions? What do you want me to do? And I've got to say, I probably feel sorry for the bloke, to be fair. He's got a job at Roma. He's doing a good job at Roma. He's, like he says, he's got young players coming through as well. So, I think the media need to stop putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 5. Gary says, watching the away games at the minute is like watching Bruce Ball all over again. It's got that bad.
Yeah, it's not been great.
Sunderland got beat 3-0 at Yam against Coventry. How are you lads? We're not scared of them. I'm not scared of them, Ronald, but I'm just worried the way our away form is. If it's at home, it's a different game. Lee says, should be playing some of the younger players and give them a chance to may do well. This is what I said. Look, it wouldn't hurt to play a few of the youngsters yesterday against Luton Town. If we got beat off, well, we got beat yesterday, but even if we did get beat off them with the youngsters in, does it really matter?
Yes,
Well, yes, in some ways, but, but there again, at least we're rotating the squad because we've got another game Tuesday. That's probably why I thought Botman stayed on the bench, because maybe he had Tuesday in mind for Botman. Maybe, right, I'll start Cher today, I'll start Botman on Tuesday. But now Lascelles is out, that's thrown another spanner in the works now. So, that's maybe what Eddie's plan was, We'll see. But I bet Miggy Almiron starts again on Tuesday.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he did. It's just one of those things that I think I say I'll play the youngsters. I'm just think that they're protecting the youngsters until they feel they're actually good enough to play at that level. Because when you're young, the last thing you need is going up to play in the first team and get rings run round you. Not all our youngsters, none of our other youngsters are as good as Lewis Miley. And I think if they were good enough, I think he would have rotated and played them.
Yeah. I don't think so, Arthur. He says, get Chris Wood back. Julie says, we'll see Chris Wood soon when we play Forest. Hope he doesn't haunt us. Well, yeah, because he's done not too bad this season, has he? Daniela says, you finished fourth last season because Liverpool, Spurs, Chelsea, West Ham all had really bad seasons. Now they're not at it. It's all different. Add Villa and Brighton to the league tougher this season.
Oh,
yeah, you're not wrong, Daniela.
Yeah, the league is a lot tougher this season, but it's always going to be.
Bring Fraser back right wing. God's sake, Bia. Best 11 on the pitch for one game a week in the Winter World Cup break. We are top side and can beat anyone. Lots of injuries. Game every 3 days. No winter break. We are bang average, says Foxy. Absolutely true.
Yeah, that's the whole crux of the situation, is that we've been playing games within 3 days, and we haven't, because of injuries, we've not been able to have the squad to be able to cope with that.
Trolls has got a good point. He says, one thing I don't understand. Why does Trippier take every dead ball and it's often just bad? Let someone else take it. Look, I see what you're saying. I mean, look, there's sometimes when I think, do you know what, that free kick, I would rather see Cher take that one, because that's probably more the range for Cher than it is for Trippier. And like we saw last week, Bruno took a few free kicks and done all right. So, look, yeah, I think it should be Cher around. I do agree with you in that way. Shouldn't just be Trippier all the time taking everything, But there is some free kicks when we've had them outside the area thinking, I'd rather have Cher taking that than Trippier, if I'm honest, because we know what Cher's like for a shot. Daniela says, West Ham have not had the injuries we had last season. We used 22 players in the season. Last season, we never had the same back line in back-to-back games. First match away at Villa Park, Shearer pulled Bosnich back. Lee Clark scored from the halfway line, 2-2. Savo miss a lot of scores for them. Milosevic, yeah. Oh, yeah, Milosevic, remember him, yeah. And Yorkie. Yeah, Dwight York, yeah. Katie Price's ex. Ronald says, Budgie was having some banter with us at Wolves and stated he was going to keep a clean sheet and Steve Bull wouldn't get past him, and we won 1-0. That was Budgie all over. He was absolutely brilliant. My first away match was Wolves 93. Andy Much scored. We lost 1-0. Scott Sellers and Andy Cole started. Scott Sellers, what a left winger he was. Ronald says I was at the 0-0 at Sunderland in the playoffs as well, and it wasn't me wearing a white hoodie, flares and kickers on the pitch at home on TV. Honest, mate. My ex and Ma were wrong. Up the Max says, love Eddie, but he needs to make the right decisions tactically. Yeah, I totally agree with Up the Max, absolutely, and that's what I'm saying. You know, we just need to see a bit more from Eddie and a bit more ruthlessness. There's sometimes is he feeling the pressure because, you know, look, he started at Bournemouth, he done great for Bournemouth. But at Newcastle, it's a bigger club than Bournemouth. No disrespect to Bournemouth, by the way. We are a bit of a bigger club than Bournemouth. There's a lot more expectation here than there is at Bournemouth. Probably Bournemouth's expectation is just staying in the Premier League. They're probably not worried about European competition. So, look, Eddie's having to manage that as well. And not only manage that, but sometimes you do see a bit of naivety from Eddie at times. You've got to start making these substitutions better than what you're doing because, you know, for the benefit of the team. Like I say, if he took Mickey off at 60 minutes and gives Livermore half an hour on the wing, who knows? We could have scored another goal. We could have got a goal and maybe equalised and got a draw out of that game, or even got a win out of that game. Who knows? But again, Eddie's got to stop. It's all learning by mistakes, and hope Eddie's learned that one. Plus, I'm not blaming Eddie for the fact these players are coming back too quick. I'm blaming the medical team because I think the medical team are rushing these players back far too quick and they're breaking down too easily. And, you know, they need to slow it down because we don't want players coming back and then ending up being out for 6 months. It's not right. Ronald says, I'm going to be upbeat and I think we will be up for the Sunderland game. I hope so. Anthony Gordon is. He can't wait for it. Joe Willock is not fit for more than a few games in the season now, Tony says up the max. It's a shame because he came back and he looked great. He looked back to the Joe Willock we know, scored a great goal against Man United. But a shit again
as well.
Yeah, but again,
it's a different injury.
Yeah, absolutely. Billy's in the chat. Hi, Billy. Hope you're well, mate. He says, not down to him being ruthless. He needs to manage the squad better. He should have played a couple of academy players and Richie on occasion. His 11 or 12 can't play the amount of games we have. This is what I'm saying, Billy. This is what I'm saying as well. The likes of Alex Murphy, give him a game for God's sake, you know. Rotate a bit. You can rotate. There's no such thing as we can't rotate. We can rotate. There is players there. Even if you played Richie yesterday on the left-hand side, and you played Livermore as a right wing, and you rested Mickey yesterday and Gordon on the bench, you know, that's the thing. He's got to start making these decisions now. But yeah, I totally agree with you, Billy. Absolutely 100% mate. Newcastle away to Liverpool 1-0 was his first away match. Billy says, make sure his best players are fresh as possible for the crucial games where he may have lost these games, but he's flogging a dead horse too often. Yeah, I totally agree, Billy. I totally agree with you. He is, absolutely. We should be, you know, no disrespect to Luton, but you could play a couple of, like, you know, a couple of the kids in that team and rest a few of your seniors. We could have. We could have. Because what's to say that you don't put a couple of youngsters in and they play absolutely brilliant? You know. So I totally agree with you on that one. Troll says you grow by mistakes. You do. And if you can't let the young players learn by that, playing for us, they'll never learn, in my opinion. Daniela says, when a comment comes up, let the horse speak. Okay. Up the Mag says, wish Howe would at least give the young striker a shot. Wilson's played too many minutes for his part-time ability recently. That's fair enough. Billy says, the owners may think after one trip to Wembley in the Champions League football, they want it consistently. If we lose to Sunderland, 100%, Howe will be under threat, says Billy. And Billy doesn't often get stuff wrong. And I'll tell you what it is, Billy. We want a cup run. We want an FA Cup run. We're dying for a great FA Cup run. We've gone out the last 2 seasons to League One fodder. And this time we've got Championship fodder in Sunderland, and we need to go out there and make sure Ian Beale goes back to Walford with his tail between his legs. He can go back to running Beale's eels rather than trying to be a manager at the Stadium of Shite. So, yeah, let's hope. Up the Mag says Miggy shite apart from when he has one decent flash in the pan every now and again. That's the thing. Look, when he scores, I mean, look, the easy chance he missed against Milan. This is what I'm saying. You've got to put chances like that away. Yes, he scored that one against Fulham because he couldn't really miss. Well, he could have missed, but he couldn't really, if you know what I mean. But yeah, you've got to start taking your chances more. Hi, Tony Roly and all says, Coffee, hi to you. Coffee, hope you're well. Coffee says, I love Eddie, but even I would be upset if we lost to Sunderland. I would be as well. I'd be devastated, mate. Absolutely. Gary says Nottingham Forest didn't have the new manager bouncing, winning yesterday. No, they got beat. That's what I'm saying. We didn't have it straight away. Where Eddie drew 3-3 with Brentford. But when a new manager comes in and wants to put his ideas across to a team, it doesn't happen overnight that the team come out the next game and boom, hit the ground running. It's going to take Forest 3-4 weeks maybe for him to implement his game plan to the team and for the team to implement it on the pitch. And that takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. So, Forest, after a couple of weeks or another 3 weeks or whatever, middle of January, there might be a different team and hit the ground running and just go boom up the league, and be in mid-table. And that's what I'm saying. It takes a while for a manager to get his ideas across. We simply must not get beat off Sunderland. We have to howk them. Up the Mag says, if we want to finish top 8, the way we play away from home, we have to improve that, mate. Absolutely. Daniela says, don't Eddie Howe's got the pulling power to bring in the big names. Your owners want to see at the club. I mean, what do you say to that one, Roly?
I don't think that's the model that we're going for. I don't think we're going for big names because it looks like we're looking to build for long-term rather than short-term gains. So we're looking to bring in players that have the ability to develop to be top names, so that we don't have to keep spending sort of like 80, 90 million on players. We buy the Brunos at 40, and then within 2 years they're worth that sort of money.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be surprised if we went out and bought a top star, because I don't think that's the model they're working to. I think part of that is they've seen what happened at how Manchester City did it and decided that's not for us.
Yeah. Danielle says the FA Cup third round, its own game, where league form is irrelevant. Yeah, absolutely. Form book goes out the window, Daniela. Lee says the league table's tight this season. It absolutely is. Get Chris Budd back? No thanks for that idea, says Gary. Coffee says, I remember in pre-season game we were losing to Brighton and we brought the kids on and they ended up winning the game. Yeah, well, Elliot Anderson was one of them, but he's injured, isn't he?
That's
different players taking the corner as well. Coffee says, that Townsend guy looked great yesterday. We should sign him. Gary says 9 times out of 10, the ball does not end up in the back of the net when Trips takes free kicks and corners. Yeah, I agree. Would be former high mate up you well. He says, have players complain publicly. Until that happens, let's be realistic. 7th place, lots of injuries, and Marquis signing suspended. Barnes and Willock gone early as well. Yeah, I mean, look, Barnes was a freak injury, wasn't it? And we'll be glad to see him back, that's for sure. And yeah, Tonali being suspended doesn't help, but it's like having to play out for a season who's had an injury. So, and he misses the first 2 games of next season as well. And he says the one bad call in Paris, we might have advanced to the Champions League or at least got to the Europa. Absolutely spot on, mate.
Yeah, if we hadn't had that penalty, which they shouldn't have had.
Yeah, if we don't have enough wingers, we should change the formation to suit what players we have.
Well, it's not just a case of wingers; it's attacking players. Most of them are injured all at the same time.
Would-be says we'll win 2-0 against Forest. I think we'll smash Forest. I really do. Especially if Matt Turner's playing in goal. He's absolutely shite, isn't he? No wonder Arsenal sold him. Mad Max says, gotta love these ups and downs. Yeah, absolutely. Trevor says, hi guys. Hi Trevor, hope you're well. And we've got a Luton Town fan here. He says, I'm a Luton fan, but fair play. No one will ever guarantee and win by a good game. Yeah, look, mate, well done to your team winning yesterday. Glad to see Tom Lockyer's recovering as well. Yeah, absolutely. And do you know what?
And I hope you stay up
that game
and put Everton down. I think of the three teams that have come up, I think you seem to have adapted best to the Premier League and have the best chance of staying up. And I hope you do.
I think that game yesterday against us, that might just be the catalyst that now keeps you up. I think a lot of teams are finding it hard going to go to Kenilworth Road. And Rob Edwards has done one hell of a job for you, considering he come from your rivals down the M1 at Watford. So, yeah, and your rivals are 30 mile away. But, yeah, well done to you yesterday. And, got no complaints. We didn't turn up simply. And, do come on here again. And if you're new, come in to subscribe as well, mate. We don't mind any fans coming on here. I heard Sam Johnson's leaving. Why not go for him? Oh, is he leaving? Is he? I would have had Dean Henderson as a second choice because I'll tell you what, he's playing so well. He had a good season for Forest last season. Shit United and Sunderland losing, says Trevor. Yeah, absolutely. He's done well to beat Ipswich. Our owner settled for fourth last year, says Would-be Farmer. If you want to stay in the Champions League and so on, you need to be a top name. And that's just two facts. Yeah, absolutely. Mad Max says, fifth despite. Jury's still a good attempt. Most important thing is we stay humble and not like the scum in Old Trafford. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Totally agree with you on that one. If we finish fifth, you could still get Champions League, so who knows? Some teams have that new manager bounce and win for the first time. Of asking, others don't, says Gary D. Absolutely, mate. I think with Nuno, it's going to take a couple of weeks to get into the game plan into them. With our pathetic away form, at least when we play them at Yem, the team should talk about being easy with exacting revenge being the big point. Yeah, absolutely. So what's Roly saying? Says Foxy, instead of buying the big names, we should buy hungry players from the Belgian league. What a place, what a country, Belgium. Yeah, go and get gift. See, you thing is, right? When I'd mentioned to you about the Dutch keeper in the summer and said, "Oh, for Bruggen, we should get him." Yeah, but that's a Belgian league. He's playing for Brighton, only, and doing very well, Roly. Just saying it's come from Belgium league.
It's not, as I said at the time with my Belgium comments, it's not every player. There are exceptions to the rule, but in general, I'm still not a fan, not convinced. A lot of the good players that have been in the Belgian league have gone elsewhere, and then they've been in reserves and the like, and become the players they are today. You look at Kevin De Bruyne when he came over at at Chelsea. He was considered a flop. Went away to Man City, went out on loan, then came back and became the one of the best players in the world. As I said, there's no hard and fast rule. I'm just wary of players that have been in the Belgian league, essentially. It's one of those things that. Yeah, but I'm gonna one of these days I'm gonna have a surprise for Foxy.
Daniela says she would love Everton to be relegated.
That makes two of us. Oh God, that'd be very funny. Especially if what would make it funnier is if they got relegated by 12 points.
Miggy won't use his right foot and missing a lot of chances because of it, says Julie. Absolutely, Julie. And the thing
Yeah.
is, I've always said he's better on the left. And look, when we saw him play on the left against Man United, I thought he was absolutely terrific on the left. But again, we don't want to play him on the left all the time, and then he wants these inverted wingers.
Plus that Anthony Gordon's been so good. Why would you need Anthony Gordon?
Exactly.
You're not going to need Anthony Gordon to accommodate Miggy.
Yeah. YT Lolo, good. The Luton fan says we did it for locks. The fans and pundits underestimate us, but managers know Luton's a hard place to go. Do you know what it is? I didn't underestimate your team one bit because I said Luton will be a tough place to go. Liverpool scraped an equaliser there. Let's be honest, they scraped that equaliser. You went ahead against Man City. They had to earn that to win that 2-1. Against Arsenal, that was anybody's game because Arsenal took the lead, then you took the lead, then Arsenal levelled, you took the lead again, and Arsenal levelled, and then they eventually won the game. So yeah, any team who thinks they're going to go there and roll Luton Town over are sadly mistaken, let's be honest. And I do hope your team stay up, mate. I really do. That guy that's on there, I think he's an Everton fan, so we've chucked him out the. Yeah, no one's biting Harold. Absolutely, he's been timed out, by the way. Trevor says, I give it 2 seasons. Shit United would be playing in the Championship and it's deserved. Man United, he means, yeah. Not great there. Harold Schumacher wasn't Anthony Gordon supposed to be the next great hope for Newcastle last month? Thing is, Daniel, he's an Everton fan, so he's going to see all that about Anthony Gordon. I think he left a comment on one of mine saying that Dwight McNeil is better than Anthony Gordon and should be in the England squad.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, everyone. Yeah, if you do like what you see, please do smash that like and also do hit the subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. Miggy not on the same level as Messi and Maradona, says Julie. Definitely not. I'll leave him to you, trolls. Do we have a Macamania winding us up? No, it was an Everton fan. Who would you sign, Harold? I don't know who he would sign at Everton. Laurel and Hardy if you could, but they're both dead, so it wouldn't be them two, that's for sure. Although Foxy says Harold's point about the right foot is actually correct. South American lefties traditionally do not use a right foot. South Americans better. Similar level or worse than Miggy, that's South America. Like I say, Tony says, Mad Mag, I'm only 30 years, so you and Roly's followed the tune a little longer than me. How happy would you be if we finished this season 5th place and the FA Cup? I, for one, would be on the moon. Do you know what? I would absolutely be happy with that, Mad Mag. I would. Yeah. If we finished 5th and won the FA Cup, do you know what? I would say that's a successful season. Yes, it's one place lower than last season, but I think given our away form, how poor we've been away from home, I would say yes, that is absolutely fantastic. And I would take that all day, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah,
so well said, mate.
I mean, at the end of the day, depending how the rest of the teams do in Europe, that could be enough for a Champions League spot.
Yeah, it could be, yeah.
As things stand at the moment, it's not. But with the way the coefficients worked out, we're not far off what's required to I think it's the Germans are top, then it's Italy, then it's England.
Yeah.
And then Italy are only just above us. So if, but I hate to say it, the likes of Liverpool, Villa, Brighton do well, and obviously Man City or Arsenal win it, we'll have that 5th spot.
Foxy says, I can't agree about Gordon being the Championship level, though he's been good. Foxy, he's just an Everton fan, so he's just been a troll, mate, so don't worry, mate, ignore him. That's 22 of 81, Harold. Julie's saying bye, Harold, because he's being timed out. He's actually been banned now as well. We've had a few trolls today. Usually nothing to mod here. We don't normally get trolls on here. We've got a great community on here. But and this is great when the mods are on here. That's why the mods are here to get rid of idiots like that. But yeah, look, you're absolutely right, Julie. We are a great community here, and it is growing, which is absolutely fantastic. And look, we know who comes on here regular. As I say, I don't have a problem with other football fans coming on here and subscribing to the channel, because generally the ones we do have on here, the likes of Daniela, the likes of Trevor, and the Luton Town guy as well, look, have all been absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I don't have a problem. But if you're naughty and you step out of lane, you will be banned. Simple. I think Luton Town keeper has kept them in games as well. Yeah, I think he's not a bad keeper. That Kaminsky looks all right, doesn't he? Jim Willie says we should have signed Rafael Guerrero and Marcus Thuram for free in the summer and Ansu Fati on loan. Do you know what? I don't disagree with that. Don't know a lot about Guerrero, but especially Marcus Thuram. Yeah, he would have been a great striker to have on the bench, wouldn't he? Absolutely. I understand. Yeah, I get that. And Ansu Fati, he looks as if he's going to be a class act. And that's why he's only on loan and not being sold. Luton Town says, what's your thoughts on Elijah Adebayo? We only got him for 250 grand. Do you know what it is, Luton Town? I'll just pop your player on screen. There he is there, Adebayo. Do you know what? I thought he was a handful yesterday. I think he's got a strong presence about him. I think his physicality. He's good at bullying defenders. Our defence, he should have scored yesterday against us when he had that chance, and Dubravka saved it with his leg. But I thought he was a handful yesterday. I really did. And I think, if you do stay up in the Premier League this season, he can go on and become a real handful. I saw him playing for us in the Championship, and I thought he looks a good striker. And it's like, will he step it up in the Premier League? And I'll tell you what, he's not been bad at all. Roly, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I've not seen a lot of him, to be honest, but I thought that he was a real handful yesterday. He's strong. He's got a decent turn of pace to him. Yeah, he could be one of the players that helps you stay up. I don't know what his scoring record's like, but it's basically centre halves know they've been in the game when they play against them, and that's going to open up chances for other people as well.
Yeah, Daniela says, I'm going to say in East London, good night, and everyone have a joyful Christmas. Yeah, you too, Daniela. Have a nice Christmas, and see you again very soon.
Congratulations on your win yesterday.
Yeah, against Man U. Okay. I think we might have another one in the chat. Schumacher's come back. Yeah, I'm sure you'll be banned. The two fat slags are playing for Sunderland when Toon played, putting them both in goal. Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, the ugly sisters. Yeah. Yeah, we've got another one. Jim Willie. Okay, mate, whatever. Bye-bye. Another troll. Gone. Question. Last season, Sheffield United. How rotated and we lost? Do you think that plays on his decisions now? I mean, Sheffield Wednesday would be.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, maybe, because that team didn't look great against Sheffield. Again, they wanted it more than us. Luton wanted it more than us yesterday. So, yeah, I get that. We will get top six, nothing to worry about, says BL. Let's hope so, mate. I hope so. We just need to sort this. If we sort this away form out, we'll be absolutely fine. I've got no reason to believe we won't be.
We're going to be there or thereabouts.
It's the away form that is pissing me off. We need to sort the away form out. Start winning games away from home, but don't just win one away from home. I don't want to go to Liverpool on New Year's Day, win that game, and then we win no more away games for the rest of the season, because that will really piss me off. I want to see us win these away games on a constant basis. Get a bit of consistency going, you know. But don't just go and beat Liverpool and then not win another away game, because that's absolutely shambolic then, isn't it? It doesn't even make that game look any better. So if we're going to make a statement away from home, let's do it at Liverpool, and then let's continue the trend for the rest of you for the first half of 2024. Any signings in Jan they can play in the FA Cup? I'm
Yes, you
not
can.
sure. I think they could do, yeah. Depends how early you get them in.
Yeah, if they haven't played, if you get them in before January the 6th, they're definitely eligible. And if they haven't played in the FA Cup third round, or that's presuming you're not buying them from a lower league team, which I expect we wouldn't do. But anyone bought in January who can play in the FA Cup, provided they haven't already played in the competition.
Yeah. Trevor says, know what it is? We've all got something in common here. We all hate Everton, crap United. And Everton, even though I'm a Leeds fan, I'll always look at the Toon results. Cheers, Trevor. Thank you very much. We all hate Everton, don't we? Scouse Mackums. I was keen on the English players. We will only get the ones that are a bit over average. So we need to look to Europe with FFP being everywhere. Do you know what it is, though? We could have had an upgrade to Mickey, but we didn't go for him. James Ward-Prowse. He does deliver a great ball.
He does
no,
great.
He's not. He does deliver a great ball, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but it's not really an upgrade for Mickey because he plays a different position.
It's house tactics, using subs at the wrong time, says Julie. Changing things around when losing, yeah. Ronald says, Adebayo is Luton Shola Amiobi.
Well, if it's going to be a Mackham Slayer, we'll have him.
Yeah. Luton fan says, Newcastle actually wanted Adebayo a season ago. I hope he doesn't go. Oh, I didn't know that, but okay.
Well, we've been linked to so many players. It could have been one
of press conference has just been flashed up. Oh, lovely. We'll have to look at that later.
Yeah.
Always like Leeds, says Trolls. Regardless of where we finish in the Premier, I still feel Howard deserves the opportunity to put right next season for everything he's done. Again, football isn't always fair, though. No, absolutely not, Foxy. It isn't, and we'll have to wait and see on that one.
I think he will do. I mean, if we qualify for Europe, I don't think there's any problem.
Mm-hmm. Predator says, Merry Christmas, Tony and Roly and everyone in the chat. Yesterday was horrendous, but full faith in Eddie and the lads turned it around.
Good to see you back. I hope you're up and everything went well.
Yeah, he's back, mate. Yeah, he's fine. Yeah. Yeah, he's doing really well, Predator, aren't you, mate?
Glad to hear that, Predator. Good to see you back.
Coffee says, I'll trust Eddie Howe for the next 2 seasons. Depends on the results. If we're seeing improvements and not keep making the same mistakes. We could try and snap Smith Rowe from Arsenal. Yeah, I would take him, absolutely.
Yeah. But then we're going to get a bit overcrowded with midfielders. It's not. I wouldn't expect that because I don't think it's an area of need at the moment.
Foxy says this is Howe's first ever season involved in Europe, so he's a baby in terms of management.
Yeah,
he's always going to be making mistakes. Of course, he needs to learn from them. Absolutely.
Yeah.
He just needs to learn from them very quickly, doesn't he? Is Luton top 5 fan base due to loudness? Quite possibly. It is a loud ground, that's for sure. Yeah. Yeah, it could possibly be. Push them or crap YouTube site about Newcastle full of crap. Arsenal, Liverpool and City are top 3rd, 4th, 5th wide open. I don't see Spurs and Villa having a lack there. Villa does have as much on the bench and maybe starting to show cracks. Do you know what it is with Villa? I think if they get a run of a few injuries, I think they'll just drop down. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, because they've hardly had any injuries, but if they get 3 or 4 out at the same time, that really dents their quality. The one thing that's been quite interesting is that we're all raving, thinking we should have got, I mean, what's his name again? The winger that they got from Leverkusen. His name's gone.
DRB.
Yeah. He's starting on the bench.
Yeah. Apparently lives in London and commutes to Birmingham.
Yeah, well, that's a bit odd.
Because he wanted to move to London, but he says because Birmingham's a bit closer to London, he'll commute.
Yeah, but yeah, let's see. Everyone's coming for Diaby, and he's not pulling up trees at Villa.
No,
so
he's dropped off, hasn't he?
Maybe we dodged a bullet there.
Maybe. Striker and a goalkeeper at top priority, says Julie.
Striker, yeah. Goalkeeper, I think we can do till the summer. Then
he's still waiting for the call.
Yeah, I know he's still waiting, but I don't think he'll get it, especially the way that Dubs is playing.
Yes, Coffee.
He's got until De Gea's got basically Dubravka's got until January, the end of January, to prove that he's worth keeping, because De Gea's not playing for anyone. We can bring him in at any time, as long as there's space on the squad. We would have.
Yes, Coffee. I saw that as well. I thought that was hilarious. That made me chuckle, I must admit. I like the way the football ran down the roof and down someone's chimney. Luton fan says their new ground should be built early 2025.
Please.
Yeah. Gary says Howard sent subs on after going down 3-0 far too late in the game. Yeah, I'd agree. Foxy says Luton top 5, nowhere near, but still a great atmosphere. Absolutely, definitely are. Coffee says I like the Luton ground, nice and cosy, and reminded me of the old school grounds. Yeah, definitely do, don't they? Not many of them around. Anyone see the footballs land on someone's roof when it went down their chimney? Yeah, I saw that. That was class. Mad Max is a noising from people putting in the bins out in the atmosphere, only joking. Look how well Leverkusen have replaced Diaby in the offline in Bundesliga. Haven't they just? And Javier Alonso's doing a great job there, isn't he? Also, St. Region Newcastle's company more supporters were always singing the tune, kind of claim that they were backed. Absolutely, they sang all the way through the match, Ronald.
Mm.
I wouldn't allow a player to commute that distance. Crazy. Szoboszlai is the one me missed out on. Yeah, definitely.
He always wanted to go to Liverpool. He's a Liverpool fan, so when Liverpool came in, I think he was interested until Liverpool came in.
Yeah. Luton fan says, do match day vlog in the home end at Kenilworth Road. Whenever Luton don't play on the same day when Newcastle don't play, you will enjoy the atmosphere. It fires shivers and passion all over the ground. Yeah, I bet it does, mate, and because it's one of those grounds as well. Woodby says De Gea will want 200 grand a week. I'm not so sure. I think he's willing to take a pay cut. Arsenal perspective. Hi, mate. Hope you're well. He says, do you expect an upturn in performances and results now there's no more European competition? I would like to think so.
Yeah,
I'd like a good run in the FA Cup as well. So, yeah, I'd like to think there would be an upturn. Let's hope there is.
I mean, the thing about the FA Cup, it doesn't put the same strain as the Carabao Cup or Europe because it's at weekends. So we still get the full day's rest, the full week's rest. So I think that will help us. It'll help us with injuries. And I think that will help us. But we've had a really good learning experience of the sheer number of games we're going to have to play when we qualify for Europe again.
Yeah, absolutely. Luton says people hate about Kenilworth Road, but it's old school and it's history. I don't understand why fans hate our ground. I know a lot of people take the piss because obviously it's there's houses behind it and everything like that. But you know what? It is a great little ground. It's a cracking little ground, let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean,
Arsenal
it's one of
says
the
if
things that. Sorry, I
yeah,
was going to say
no,
it's
no,
just
that's
one of
fine.
the
Yeah,
things people uh, have their emotional attachment to their ground, and it's like why when we look at our ground, we need to expand it. But should we move it? But everybody wants it where it is, so which does limit us a bit. But it's because it's where it is and what it is that people love it, and I'm sure that's the same with Kenilworth Road. It'll take a while to build up the history, the atmosphere. That's a new ground if you move. Well, I'm presuming when you move there.
Arsenal Perspective says if we don't win the FA Cup, it would be good for English football if the Toon won it. Thank you very much, mate. Lovely.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Arsenal Perspective. Yeah, I think
Foxy says, I take Europa Conference for next season. Trophy we can win next season while also playing backup players in the group games. Absolutely, Foxy. I'm glad teams like Luton are in the Premier League, says Coffee, because we can see new grounds. Absolutely. And Arsenal have the best pedigree for the FA Cup, though, says Julie. Well, they've got to play Liverpool, so that's going to be a tough game, in it. So one of them's going to go out in the first hurdle. So who is it? Who knows?
Please let it be Arsenal to wipe the smiles off their skies.
Well, guys, today's passed us by so quickly. We've been on nearly 2 hours, believe it or not. Yes. So we are going to come to the end of this show. Yeah, sorry.
Before we go, what are you going to do for the rest of the day?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, what am I doing for the rest of the day? I've got some family coming over a bit later, so they'll be coming over. But yeah, other than that, probably sit and have a couple of drinks tonight. And tomorrow I've got Christmas Day on my own, so I'll be having a few drinks tomorrow as well. And I'll be doing a special live tomorrow. It'll only be a short one, just to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. And yeah, because my other half, she's at work tomorrow, so there we go.
I'm going to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, but after the show, I'm going to start on the cooking for tomorrow. I make my own special stuffing from scratch. I'm going to cook the ham and prepare the turkey for tomorrow. So I do all the cooking, then I take it round to my mum's, and then everyone chows down. They do the veg over there. So
yeah,
and I have a few beers, or a beer or two. Whilst I'm doing that, so feeling rather festive now.
Yeah. If you have liked what you see, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up. It takes a couple of seconds. Just give it a thumbs up. That'd be absolutely fantastic. If you are brand new to this channel, come and smash this subscribe. I'm only 30 away now from 1100, so please give it a subscribe if you haven't done so already. And hit that bell notification as well if you want to know when there's any live pre-records or upcoming shows as well. Okay, let's go into the last of the comments now and see what people are seeing in the chat. As Roly is a voice of Christmas, can we hear Roly sing a Christmas carol?
Oh, yeah. It would ruin your speakers if I sang. Oh dear.
Ronald says it's amazing that I was.
My singing voice is one that's made for silent movies.
Yeah. He says he was grafting doing Luton and had some banter. Weatherspoon's only place I would eat, he says, and they were all so low. Yeah. Lee says, been a great show tonight, Tony and Roly and everyone. Merry Christmas. Hope you all have a good one. Enjoy yourselves. Merry Christmas to you as well, mate.
Yeah.
Great show, says Trolls. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Yeah, Roly getting ready to sing the Belgian Christmas carols, says Foxy. Yeah, don't forget Foxy. He's going to have his Belgian waffles for breakfast in the morning, and he's going to have his Belgian chocolates later.
Foxy,
whilst drinking his Belgian beer.
Foxy, you PM me on X. I have something to put to you.
There you go, Foxy. So send Roly a DM on Twitter or X, whichever you want to call it. Julie says she's made a massive spag bol today. Wow, very nice, Julie. I like a bit of spag bol. Tell you what, Julie, take a photograph of it. Take a photograph of your spag ball, DM it to me, and we'll have to put it on display when you've put it on your plate, obviously. By the way, all the kids tonight are waiting for the big man. And what I'll do is I'll take that comment off. So this is what all the kids will be thinking tonight before they go to bed about Santa Claus. Here it goes. Hurry up, you fat bastard. That's what they'll all be saying. I thought I have to put that on. It's funny, isn't it? You can just imagine it, though, can't you? Really can imagine it, can't you? The kids are all sitting there saying that as well. Bye, Tony Roly and all says coffee. Goodbye to you, coffee. Troll says, take care, Roland. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. Woodby says, Shalom, happy Christmas. One's that to all. Shalom and happy Christmas to you as well, mate. Yes, is Roly flying over to Brussels tonight? Christmas in Belgium? Quite possibly, yeah. He'll be having Brussels sprouts as well. Merry Christmas, everyone, and a Happy New Year, says Julie. And same to you as well. Gary says, hope you don't have the fire when the football went down the chimney, lol. I think it was all right. Merry Christmas, says Coffee. Merry Christmas to you. Ronald says, Roly loves Brussels sprouts.
Yes, I do.
Does. Coffee says, Roly has the voice of Elvis. Ooh, okay.
Well, now he's dead for about 40 years, I probably have.
Luton, I can't wait to see how we do against Chelsea. You'll beat them, mate. Honestly, you will do.
Yeah, oh no.
Great show as always, says Julie. Cheers, Julie. Thank you.
Thanks, Julie.
Love to you all, of course, our Luton guest. Take care and have a smashing day. You too, mate. Cheers. Yeah. Do you think we beat Sheffield United on Boxing Day? Why not? Sheffield United are not that great, are they? I think you can beat them. Yeah, definitely. Roly with his chef's hat on, says Lee. Class. Santa won't come down the chimney with that language, says Coffee. Definitely me, that as a kid, says Julie. Yeah, you see, everybody knows. I thought Adam P would have had a wore black and white Santa hat on. No, he didn't, did he? Thought he would have. Yeah, he had the traditional red and white hat on. Another comment's come in now. Sunderland are like Santa, red and white, and keep giving gifts, says Coffee. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. And yeah, so no, it's been a cracking show. Thoroughly enjoyed it. The 2 hours has flew over. But remember, the future's bright. The future is definitely black and white. And until then, I'll be back tomorrow with a live. And so do catch that. If you can't catch it live, you can always catch up with it anytime. So it'll always be there to so it's bye-bye from me.
That's goodbye from me.
Are we the lads?